guys, today we're making a Paracord Trivet, also known as a potholder. The design we'll be using is called an ocean plate mat. It's similar to a Turk's head in many ways, but this one will be more of a rectangle than a circle. For a potholder that's just under a foot long, I have here 25 feet of Paramax cord, but any 1/4 inch rope will do. Paramax is much like Paracord, it's just a lot beefier. I've got a lighter and a scissors here, and you can certainly use that, but I'm actually going to be using a hot knife that we sell on our website too, with this thicker cord that works much better than trying to hack through it with the tiny scissors. So when the time comes, I'll bring this guy back out. Start by finding the middle of your cord. I've got these 25 feet here. So if I find both ends, got my middle here. I'm just going to start by tying an overhand knot in that middle portion. So once I've got my knot, I'm going to lay it out like this and pull both of these loops larger. About like that. And then with this one, it goes under right here. So I'm going to be twisting it upwards like this. It's a little bit difficult to hold it all in place while you're doing this, but maybe if you have a book, you can set it on top of it. This goes over, so I'm going to be bending that side under. So now I've got two new loops here, and I'm going to be crossing one over the other one. Yep, so my bottom one, I'm going to be sticking underneath the top one. So it looks like this here. So to cover that, once again, we have our overhand knot over here. We pull our loops longer, flip each of those loops upward, and then stick the lower end under the top end. You see how it's starting to get that Celtic knot look here. Okay, so we're going to be taking this bottom corner and feeding it underneath this middle bottom loop. Usually you're going to be doing the opposite of whatever's next to it. So this cord goes over, our next one is going to go under. So I'll take my end, slip it underneath this first one, and then actually over the next two and underneath that top corner. So now we've got that looking there. We're going to do the same thing with our top cord. Find the end, and this time this goes over, so we want to go underneath our new cord. So our new cord is going to go over the top, and then follow through under the next one, and not over two this time, but just over one, underneath the next, and finally over that loop in the corner, and pull the rest of that through as well. Alright, so now we've got something that is self-contained and it's not going to come apart on us. Mine here is about 6 inches long right now. I want it a little bit bigger than that, so I'm actually going to kind of take some of the slack back out and feed it through to make it bigger. Okay, so you'll notice it's looking pretty symmetrical at this point, except that we don't have this loop over on this side. So you want to get your mat to be the size you want it right now, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so now we've done this one full pass. This is what it's going to look like, but we're going to double up each one of these strands, and we'll actually triple them. We'll have three strands running in the same weave. So I'm going to take my bottom cord, grab the end again, and we're going to form this loop right over here. So it's going to go up here and follow this tail end in. And instead of doing the opposite of what's right next to it, now we're just going to be following right alongside of it. You want to pull your slack through as you go, otherwise it'll get too tight to do that later. So now we've got our loop on this side, just kind of make it look about the same size as the other side. Then we'll continue around. You just want to keep them parallel as you go. You don't want it crossing over the one that's right next to it. So keep on going on the outside. Paramax cord is a lot stiffer than 550 cord, and that's why it works so good for this mat. You could make this same mat out of 550 cord and do, say, 5 or even 8 passes thick instead of just 3 like we're doing. But you'll get a very flimsy mat that doesn't want to lay very well. So if you use a smaller cord like 550, it actually won't use any extra cord unless you do the extra passes. So if you did the same size of mat but with 550 cord, you'd have bigger gaps in between all your things, so it'd be flimsy, but you would not use any more cord than I'm using. But if you did, say, 6 passes instead of your 3, then you're obviously going to use double the amount of cord. And if you want to make a bigger mat, if you double the length, you're going to just about quadruple the amount of cord that you're going to use, because twice the length is about 4 times the area. So now we came back to where we started. You saw I wove both ends back into the mat, going along a different side of that original cord. You can finish this off in a couple different ways. You can tie a knot, but if you're using it as a pot holder, a knot in this stuff's going to be really bulky and it's not going to want to lay flat. You can also melt the ends together, but that'll kind of do the same thing. And so what I'm going to do is just cut my ends right here, and then once you flip it over, you're not going to be able to see the ends. It'll just look like it flows seamlessly, which is the desired result. So like I said, you can use scissors and a lighter, but I'm actually going to be using this hot knife here, if I can keep from hurting myself. So we'll turn our hot knife on here, and I'm just going to want to cut it a little bit past halfway, just so that if I were to make a mistake, you know, I've got a chance to try again. So bar right there. Takes a while to cut through that thick cord. If you were here, this would smell awful. There we go. And I think I waited a little bit too long, but I would push it down into there. We'll try doing the other side first. So that takes quick work out of it. I'm just going to use the lighter and push it down into there. So with this stiff of cord, it's actually not going to matter if I get it fully melted to the other side because it's so stiff. So I'm just going to actually leave my ends there. They're nice and finished and they're not going to fray at all. Turn my hot knife off. So I'm actually going to leave my ends just sticking out like that. They're not going to cause any harm. It's stiff enough that it's not going to pull out with this thick cord. So I can flip it over and you can hardly tell where the seam is. It's all ready for your Thanksgiving dinners. In addition to using this as a pot holder, you can also use it for a front doormat or even like a decorative wall hanging, depending on what you make it out of. If you make a doormat, a good one to make that out of is this PROMANILA rope. It's a synthetic rope, but it looks natural, and so it's not going to rot if left outside in rain and snow. Just remember that if you make this bigger, say 2 times the length, you're going to need about 4 times the amount of cord because you've got a much larger area to cover. So if you make a doormat, you'll probably need about, I'd say, 100 feet or more of that larger rope. That about wraps it up for today. All the supplies we used in this video, including the Paramax rope here, the PROMANILA rope here, and the hot knife, are available on our website, and I'll put links to those down in the description. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you next time.